Welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Please like and subscribe. Am I the bonehead for rolling my eyes at my boyfriend's proposal because it took 25 years of me begging? Yesterday after dinner, my 52 female boyfriend of 30 years, 53 male, proposed to me. He just walked towards me holding a box and said to open it. It was a ring, and I had pictured this moment a million different times, but never thought I'd be so apathetic. My boyfriend then said that he was retired now and wants to kick back and enjoy life with me, and would love to do it all with me as his wife. A nice speech, and all but from the 5-year mark of our relationship onwards, I had been making clear my deep desire to marry and was consistently dismissed, given empty promises, gaslit. We had been through the gamut, with therapy, and one counselor implied that me telling him we needed to go to therapy and getting his butt on the couch still means nothing if his mind has been made up. I was in denial about the fact he was just giving me the false illusion of progress to stall. My boyfriend and I have 4 kids. The oldest 3 are adults, while the youngest, 15 female, was sleeping over elsewhere when this all went down. All of our kids went to a private school filled with typical Southern soccer parents. I had to endure PTA moms' jabs about me not sharing a last name with my kids. Preteen years were hell because the other kids would taunt my kids by saying, "Your dad would rather sin and go to hell than marry your mom." My boyfriend's mom would tell him marriage would be selfish on my part. It is just a piece of paper. My boyfriend ended up rising up the ranks until he became an executive. I was a stay-at-home mom, so I felt like there was always a power imbalance, exacerbated by the fact I could be tossed any time. I partly did stay because I wanted my kids to have the best life, and because I felt lucky and proud to be partnered with such an intelligent, successful man, but also because I loved him. These past few years, my boyfriend's career has taken a downturn. He will never be poor, but the company he was part of took a nosedive during 2020, and he had made enemies out of associates and board members. He decided to step back from his role and take the generous severance agreed upon. Now he is living off his investments and wants to relax. I did not like how his career ended and how he treated people, and had been deciding whether I wanted to leave and find somebody else after our youngest turns 18. So the proposal was a shock because I should hope that he noticed I have avoided conversations about the future as of late. He rattles on about downsizing our house so we can travel and also cutting back on our other expenses. But we're not married, so it's all his money and house anyway. He did notice my eye roll and was offended. He asked what's wrong, and I said that suddenly now that he's downsizing, I'm good enough to marry. He got mad and said that now that he's downsizing and no longer an executive, I suddenly think our relationship is disrespectful, and started implying I was a gold digger. I was so angry I walked out and said I might just go out looking for a respectful relationship because I don't know what respect is anymore. Am I the bonehead? Here's the update. OP said, at the time of my original post, my boyfriend and I had not spoken since the engagement fight. I've been with him long enough to know that when he goes and closes the bedroom door before I get in, that's a signal that I should sleep in one of the guest rooms, so I did that. However, this morning I broke the ice. I told him about how dismissed I felt over the years. I also said that we are both in our 50s, and these last few years have taught us that people at work who kiss the ground you walk on one day can easily turn on you the next. And true partners in life are valuable and hard to find. So I wished he'd treat me like I'm valued. Instead, he treats me like he thinks prettier, better, and just as loving is always around the corner. I apologized for the eye roll, but told him that if he wants marriage, I want a quick, committed timeline and genuine happiness from him to be marrying me. I don't need a big party. He listened to me and finally asked if this was about the money and security. He told me that being an executive's girlfriend required things of me, but if I wanted to work, I could have. He said he doesn't think I'm grateful enough for the position in society I was in due to his career, but that he's not mad about the eye roll. He said he didn't succeed by being that sensitive. He went on to say I was not his prisoner, so I can leave at any time, but to remember he won't tolerate being made my prisoner either via manipulation. He said that for what it's worth, the engagement ring is mine, and I could do whatever I wanted with it. He will also not be accused of not providing for his daughter, so be assured he won't shirk child support, but that he felt what I said before was emotional blackmail. So he no longer wants to go forward with marrying, but says if I'd like to travel with him, that's fine. Him traveling is non-negotiable, and so if I wanted to get a job, it would have to be a remote job. It was a sad conversation, and I spent a few hours alone after that. I felt I had nothing to lose, so I just asked him if he would support me getting an associate's, but that most associates for technical careers were in person. He then dropped the bombshell that if I wasn't traveling with him, he wasn't going to go those periods without sex. I was astounded by his callousness because he's back to take it or leave it. We fought again with me saying we're all feeling the effects of age. I've supported him through health issues, and if he thinks he can just find somebody who has that loyalty I've shown him, he's wrong. At this point, I'm looking for ways out. I can't say I haven't been tempted to say I'll travel with him and try to get a remote job, but also realize how resentful I am that he continues to need to have the power in the relationship. I don't think I'll ever know my value truly, but something's telling me there has to be better out there, at least in a partner. Now for the top comment to the update. You're the bonehead to yourself. I'm an old 65-plus lady, and I have seen this scenario happen so many times, and it has never been a good thing for the woman involved. In fact, it has been an outright tragic disaster. Poverty is knocking on your door, OP, and it wants in. You have screwed yourself over in so many ways, the biggest of which was not to work over the last 30 years. You have no investments, no Social Security units earned, no 401k retirement, and no property. You made another huge mistake by not just grabbing that ring and immediately marrying your boyfriend, thereby cementing your ability to share in some of his investments, Social Security, etc. I don't care how unappreciated you felt. It was a moment in time and now it's gone. A good lawyer may help, depending on where you live, but it is in no way guaranteed. If you had immediately married when he proposed and he lived at least 10 more years, you would have been able to get widow's benefits. But not now. Now you get nothing. Do you have any money at all? Your own bank accounts or credit of any kind? At your age, it is a cruel world without credit or money. You had better hope that one or more of your adult children will take you in, or you could quickly find yourself homeless. I'm sorry to be so brutal, but I don't think you have any clue how terrible things can get for you unless you can find a way to make an actual living. Even if you do, don't expect to ever retire. You, as many women are, will be working until you die. I'm so very sorry. Now for my comment. The top comment's real talk might sting, but there's wisdom there about the financial stakes and potential risks ahead. Making sure you're financially stable and independent is crucial, especially at this stage. Nailing down a path that respects your needs and values might mean making some tough choices. Things might look hazy right now, but reaching out for support and exploring your options could steer you towards a brighter future. Am I the bonehead for spilling the ugly truth about my cousin at a family event? Little bit of context. My cousin Lily has been dating Ben since they were teenagers, about 10 years. They really loved each other. Ben has a great job, but is away a lot. He works away for 3 to 4 months at the time, then is 1 to 2 at home. For almost 2 years he has taken extra jobs and stayed away more to save for their wedding and help his sibling pay tuition for uni. Meanwhile, Lily lost her job during COVID and moved to his tiny apartment. She decided to go back to school, which Ben supported. I think this is also the reason he took extra jobs. Lily spent a few weeks with my family early this year and could barely focus. Later, she told me she was pregnant. I was happy and congratulated her, but she started crying. She was 10 weeks along, and Ben had left for his job more than 3 months ago. She was worried, loved him, etc. I was in shock and couldn't really say anything. The next morning, we went for a walk. She didn't want to share the details with me, but I told her we will help her, and I advised her to come clean with Ben. She started crying again, went back to the house, and left early. We spoke on the phone, but all she said was that everything was okay now. The baby was born last month. My hubby and I were in their city a few days after the birth for an event and called Ben saying we would like to drop by to give them a gift and see the baby. We couldn't reach Lily. He was silent, then said she was at her mother's. Well, it was obvious it wasn't his. Her mom told us Lily broke down in the delivery room as soon as she saw the baby, begging him not to leave. She was a mess. We had a family get-together this weekend, since most will not be available around Christmas. Everyone avoided the Lily subject until one of the little ones asked where Ben was. Lily said he didn't want her or the baby anymore. She was quite aggressive and scared the little guy. She rambled about how life as a single mother was tough and he was a selfish man. She kept playing victim and I snapped. I said she should have seen this coming. I spoke in a lower tone, but things escalated. I told her she could at least try to salvage the friendship if she was honest with him, and told him the baby wasn't his. I also said that he had warned her the last time she cheated that he wouldn't forgive her. She didn't know I knew. It was a yelling match. Her mom was furious because she didn't know about a lot that happened. Some more stuff were spilled out by her sister, and was under the impression that it had been a one-time mistake. She was about to retire, and now she has to take care of a baby and a daughter that doesn't work. It ended quite badly. My mom called me today and said I should have been more understanding. She lost everything. The kid's father seems to want to be involved, but she doesn't want him to be in their life. I said it was her fault. She completely changed this last year, is bitter, but has no one else to blame but herself. Was I a bonehead? Was I too much in your face? Edit. Didn't expect for so many Redditors to read and give their opinion. Thank you. From your questions, what I can answer is, I really don't know about the baby's father, but he reached my aunt saying he deducted he was the father. He heard what happened in the delivery room and that she was living with her mom and wanted to acknowledge the child. Lily blocked him and refuses to admit he is the dad, although from what aunt tells me and the proof he showed her, pictures, chats, he is. It was a gap of almost 3 weeks between the time Ben left and the conception. Ben blamed himself the last time she cheated. He was away a lot and saw the affair as his fault. Only a few people knew about this. He hasn't spoken to Lily since the delivery room. His landlord changed the locks. What happened would be an Am I the Bonehead by itself, and he accepted another job that will keep him away for several months. Lily doesn't seem to accept this. Ben has been a part of my family for more than a decade. We are all very fond of him. Lily's sister is BFFs with one of Ben's sisters. She is also suffering from this as her BFF backed away a little, and so she seems to take this to heart and spilled the beans on several things she knew. As I mentioned, we spoke on the phone during her pregnancy, and she told us all was okay now, not to worry. We saw them 2 times during this period, a baby shower and her mother's birthday. We were not going to pull Ben aside and ask, by the way, we know the kid isn't yours, kudos for stepping up. They settled among them, and that was enough for us. Now for my comment. Lily is a piece of work. First off, Ben's grinding away, working like a maniac to save up for their future. Meanwhile, Lily's dealing with job losses during COVID, then decides to hit the books again, which Ben's totally fine with. It was hard, but he was giving it his all, even after she had already cheated before. Then, boom, Lily drops the bomb about being pregnant while Ben's away. She was freaking out, but then she clams up and just said everything's okay. Now the baby's born, and it's chaos. She's kept everyone in the dark, and then started telling everyone Ben doesn't want her or the baby. It's unbelievable that she started blaming him and playing the victim. You were right in trying to shake her into facing the truth. That honesty might at least have saved some part of their relationship. But with all the secrets spilling, it must have been wild. I get why your mom's saying you could have been gentler, but sometimes tough love's the only way to go. You were just trying to get her to wake up to reality. And then there's the biological father who wants to be in the kid's life, and she's denying him. Like I said, Lily is a piece of work. I feel sorry for the baby. Am I the bonehead for not doing anything to prevent my female 35 husband, male 35, from cheating with his work wifey, female 25? So I met work wifey last Thursday at the Christmas party. She introduced herself as work wifey, and she called my husband work hubby and told that to everyone. When she saw me, she just exclaimed, "Oh, we are like two totally different people. How weird is that?" "Not weird at all. We don't know each other," I said. "No, I mean like because X and I get along so well, like we like totally get each other and have a lot in common, like totally. That's why he's like my work hubby." I didn't know what a manic pixie dream girl was, but apparently she was one, and apparently it was something to brag about. I just found the whole thing very amusing, but on our way home, it wasn't very amusing anymore. I felt a little bit of ick watching my husband's profile, wondering what was going on in his head. He has told me about his new colleague that he got along with. He told me that she was great at her job and that she was a gamer like him. I don't even know how to hold the joystick properly. Not even sure if it's called a joystick anymore. I sound like a boomer, don't I? I know that they text a lot too, even on weekends. I never thought about that before now. I found myself sat on the toilet seat at 3:30 a.m., scrolling through his phone in total silence not to wake him up. She is very youthful and quirky. Her words, not mine. She is very funny too. Again, her words, not mine. She calls him hubs and hubby in every text. And in one text, she warned him that men fell easily for her and that she just wanted to give him the heads up. I guess it is because she's a youthful, quirky, funny maniac, pixie dream girl gamer. Her last text was from the same evening after we left the party. She wrote that she was pissed that he didn't say goodbye before leaving, and that I was a bit surprising to her because she didn't expect him to have this type. "OMG, your wife is boring. I didn't expect that." I felt ashamed when I came to my senses. Cowering over his phone and reading weird and very juvenile messages instead of being sound asleep beside my husband, that makes me safe in our relationship. But I couldn't help but agree with manic wifey in some parts. Why is he continually engaging with her? He doesn't flirt back, nor does he initiate conversations, but he doesn't really shut her down. My husband can be stupid in not noticing flirting, but I feel that this is just beyond being stupid. Does he enjoy the attention, or worse, does he reciprocate it? In that case, she is not wrong in wondering what is he doing with someone like me, who is totally different from whatever is going on between them. Today, I had my usual brunch with my mom, aunt, sister, and sister-in-law. They said that I was a bonehead for not nipping it in the bud, and by it they meant the budding affair. I disagreed and tried to explain that I couldn't be in a relationship where I needed to stand guard to keep away temptations. I want a marriage where he is with me because he wants to be with me, and if he cheats, then he doesn't want to be with me. My mother was the one who got most upset and called me a moron and a bonehead and said that this wasn't the mature thing to do. I need to tell my husband to end his friendship because if I didn't, then I let him cheat. Am I the bonehead? I can't believe what life this is that they want me to lead and how it is so normal for my family to think that way. I want a willing husband, not a prisoner. I want someone who wants me 100% or nothing. Edit. So thank you all. It has been a rough few days, but after today's interaction between my husband and maniac pixie, whatever, yes, I snooped again. I feel calmer. I have decided not to speak to him about it, at least not now. I have written a comment about what transpired between them, and my husband didn't seem very happy with her. Maybe I have made it out to be bigger than it was in my head. Anyway, I will not snoop again, and I will not confront him about it. I will, however, tell my husband that I didn't like his colleague. Maybe not now, though. We have this week left, and then we are having 2 weeks off that we've been looking forward to spending together, and I want to enjoy the holidays with my husband, not talking about stupid and insignificant people. Now for my comment. First off, that party introduction. Awkward much? That whole work wifey thing is crazy. I get why it got your radar beeping. No one likes those weird vibes, especially when it's about your partner. Snooping on your hubby's texts? That's never a comfortable spot to be in. Those youthful and quirky messages and her calling him hubby? Major red flags waving there. You're feeling torn, right? On one hand, you're like, why is he engaging so much with her? I mean, it's not really cool if he's not setting boundaries. But then again, you don't want to be playing relationship cop either. And your family. They're all about nipping this budding affair in the bud. But hey, I get why you want a relationship where your partner's with you because they genuinely want to be. You're not wrong there. Go on holiday with your husband. Focus on enjoying your time together. The last thing you need is to have this drama overshadowing a much-needed break. But hey, remember, when the time's right, it might be worth having a heart-to-heart with your husband about this whole work-wifey situation. You deserve to feel comfortable and respected in your relationship. OP offered the following explanation in a comment. Well, she asked why he was ignoring her this weekend, and if it was because I made him, because wives are usually jealous of her once they met her. She asked if I talked about her at all, and my husband seemed genuinely surprised. Said that I didn't talk about her or the party at all because we left early. She called me boring again, and he said that this was the second time she disrespected me and that he didn't appreciate it, but thought she was joking the first time. Then she again told him that she didn't think we were a good fit and was surprised to see how I was because we didn't seem to have a lot in common, and she talked about gaming and music. He said it was shallow-minded to believe having the same superficial interests equals having a lot in common, and laughed. She called me boring again, and he said that she was great at her work and all, but that she shouldn't text him privately again. He stopped answering afterwards. That was the end of OP's comment. This just goes to show that sometimes taking a beat before going scorched earth is a good thing. Am I the bonehead for calling police on my ex for abandoning his child at mine while his girlfriend was giving birth? I, 32 female, had been married to my ex Dan, 35 male, for 6 years before we divorced at the end of 2020 due to him cheating with Kate. Kate and Dan have a son who is 3, who was conceived and born during the pandemic while I was under high risk, and their entire affair has cost me some of my physical health, not just mental one. After the divorce, Dan moved out from my house and we haven't spoken since. Last week, Dan suddenly dropped his son at my house without giving me any warning or explanation. He only mumbled that Kate was giving birth to their second child and needs him in the delivery room due to complications. He left before I could protest, and I have tried texting and calling him multiple times and have received no reply. I do not know why he thought it is a good idea, as I had plans and they definitely don't involve someone else's child. I ended up calling the police and have told them what happened, explained it is not my child, and I haven't agreed to look after him and his dad is not responding. They took the child, and I haven't heard anything until very early hours of the same day, when my ex called me calling me a bonehead, as the cops found them in the hospital and basically forced him out of the delivery room so he can look after his child. So he missed the birth of his second, and Kate had some complications, so she is in intensive care. He also started shouting, saying that his and Kate's parents are living at the opposite ends of the country and have medical conditions which mean they can't look after his son. I have told him that he should have used his brain cells and thought about it in advance, instead of dumping the product of his affair at my house, knowing that me and him are not civil, but was called an even bigger bonehead. I have mentioned this to some of my family and friends, and while some people are on my side, others agree with my ex, saying I should have looked after the kid and a bonehead for calling the cops. Now for my comment. That's bold, especially after everything you've been through with their affair. Calling the cops might seem extreme to some, but hey, you didn't sign up for childcare duty, especially not at a moment's notice. You tried reaching out to him, but no response? That was irresponsible of him to do, especially after dropping his kid off at a stranger's house. He may have been married to you, but that kid doesn't know you. I wish I was a fly on the wall when the cops showed up at the hospital, yanking him out of the delivery room. Tough break. Because there was a kid involved, I can see why opinions are split among your family and friends. But let's be real, it's not about being mean or anything. It's about respect and planning ahead, which your ex clearly didn't do. You had your reasons for taking the action you did. Standing your ground when you didn't agree to this impromptu babysitting gig? That's fair game. No one should be forced into unexpected responsibility, especially not in a situation like this. Am I the bonehead for refusing to reduce how much I talk to my mom? I live with my girlfriend and we live in a different town to my mom. It's not too far, but you still need a full day free to actually travel there to visit. Because of this, I don't get to see my mom that often. My father passed away years ago, and my mom has also lost 2 children in the last 5 years, so I'm her only living child. She lives on her own and doesn't have a lot of people nearby, apart from her sisters. I will often phone my mom a few times a day, either to just catch up or to tell her something that has happened. I don't like the thought of her just sitting on her own all day. I will often phone her 5 times a day, and at the weekend, my girlfriend asked to talk to me. She said she thinks I phone my mom too much, and she thinks I should reduce the amount I do it. I asked why she thinks that, and she just said it's weird the amount I phone her, and that it's too excessive. I disagreed with her and told her it's not excessive at all. She got annoyed and accused me of not listening to her or considering what she is asking. I told her there's nothing to consider and that I'm not reducing how much I talk to my mom just because my girlfriend thinks it's too much. She said I was completely disregarding her feelings and being unfair. Am I the bonehead for refusing to reduce how much I talk to my mom? Now, for my comment. Your connection with your mom seems super tight, and you're just trying to make sure she's not alone, right? 5 phone calls a day might sound like a lot to some, but hey, it's your way of keeping your mom company and staying connected. Your girlfriend's got her reasons for feeling a bit weird about it, sure, but it's not like you're doing it to shut her out or something. Are you? I'm hoping you're just doing what feels right by staying close to your mom, especially considering what she's been through. It's a delicate balance between keeping your mom company and respecting your girlfriend's feelings. Maybe there's a middle ground where you both can find some comfort. Figuring out why your girlfriend feels this way might help find a compromise that works for both of you. That's it for today. Please comment below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next Reddit story. In the meantime, please take care of yourself.